Mr. Speaker. Last week, a Christian family of 8 was killed in Nigeria. 2 weeks ago on Palm Sunday, an attack on a mostly Christian Nigerian town left 28 dead. Since 2009, Boko Haram and others have waged a brutal campaign attacking Christians in Nigeria. Millions have been displaced, villages destroyed, churches burned, and entire families murdered. Reports indicate over 7,000 Christians were massacred in 2025 alone. 3 churches on average are being destroyed every day, with over 18,000 churches destroyed since 2009. These attacks aren't just political disputes, they're violent attacks against innocent people just because they're Christians. Canada must speak out and stand up for the persecuted Christians and push the international community to act. Freedom of worship and conscience are core Canadian values that we can't ignore. To our brothers and sisters in Nigeria, we haven't forgotten about you. Stay strong. Keep the faith.
All right, welcome, sir.
Good morning.
News reaching us that the Canadian government has alerted the international communities that due to the killings and terrorist bombing in Nigeria, that it is triggering that Nigeria should break up, and that they have tagged politicians, as terrorists in Nigeria. What do you make of this?
Yes, it was a breaking news, not surprisingly, to a lot of millions of people all over the world, especially those who have started the awareness of the conquest agenda in Nigeria. It did not start now. It's as old as independence. Yes, I can tell you that the conquest agenda is as old as independence of Nigeria. The amalgamation of Nigeria has gotten to the level of the amalgamation, and it has gotten to a level that people that are being killed in Nigeria by these extremist tendencies are more than people who are dying in a conventional warfare anywhere in the world on daily basis. I think on that basis now, the Canadian government, the parliament, felt otherwise, that they needed to bring this thing to alert international community and world leaders, powerful nations of the world, that I think what mazi nnamdikanu and simonekpa has been projecting and been talking about, has come to a point that it has attracted global attention, and there's need. Because before now, we saw it very clearly that the Canadian government has already tagged Nigerian political parties terrorist organization. And there is a supposed hidden list of terror sponsors in Nigeria who are already in government. If not, check out what Jonathan said. Jonathan said that Boko Haram are in his government. No Boko Haram he's talking about. Our politicians who has compromised national unity to drive this extremist fundamentalist agenda. Nigeria is under serious conquest. Forget what the ACF, the World Consultative Forum, are talking about now. Nigeria has always been in a state of war right from independence till this moment, even before independence. But because we are Africans, we pretend a lot. And that is why you cannot see any black African nation developing until Biafra comes. Because we need a modern nation. Everybody is talking about America today. Everybody wants to be like Canada today. Why are people making reference to those countries? It's because they set a standard. People want to be like them. Which of the countries in Africa that an African black man can be proud of? I'm not surprised when the Canadian government came up with that position that it is no longer funny. They've alerted the world And I've made it very clearly that since it has gotten to that level, and the aim and the objective, like you watch in the video, you know say I'm the one that said it. You saw the parliament addressing the whole world. But the person who was able to alert Nigerians, who was able to tell Nigerians what is actually going on. There was a conspiracy theory, a judicial attack on him, and they sentenced him to Sokoto prison. He has not gone, he has not killed any general in Nigeria. But today, we are seeing the number of generals that have actually died. What is the Nigerian government doing about it? Absolutely not. And this alert has always been coming from the Canadian government. And this is the latest one now. And it's a clear message to the global world that it is time to implement the clause that says that they amalgamate Nigeria after 100 years. Now the question is, what is this people actually looking for? Why is it that the Nigerian presidency is not going after them? Why is it that every move is seen to be sabotaged? It's not about Peter Obi. I keep on saying it. Peter Obi has less than 4 years or 8 years and he get out. The ideology we are talking about has already been armed. Who is going to disarm it? Trump said there's no nation on earth without religion. Then they have built a synergy between religion, extremism, and politics. Imagine them coming out and say they don't want to see any Christian in Middle Belt. They begin to wonder, is Nigeria really a secular nation? A lot of people know that Nigeria is not a secular nation. Nigeria is not a secular nation. And if you look at the process of understanding what a secular nation should be, given to the recognition of Biafra. Biafra as a nation existed for almost 4 years with recognition. And those nations that recognize Biafra up to today have never come and said, we do not recognize Biafra again. Up to this moment. Up to this moment. And when mazi nnamdikanu came out with the narrative, trying to let people know of what is going on, those who are saying that we are fighting insecurity are the ones that manipulated the process. Thank God. Everybody is, they're just trying to deceive some people. Trying to waste a little bit of time so Donald Trump can finish his tenure and go. Then when I go see 99. Okay, I'm telling Peter Obi very clearly, I'm saying it, I'm not against your political ambition, sir. But we must face this fundamental truth because the issue has become fundamental. Peter Obi presidency cannot stop an armed ideology based on conquest. Okay, let me give you an instance. In Iran, in Lebanon, in West Bank, in Gaza, these are developed cities. What is happening there? Peter Obi has less than 4 years or 8 years to go. Then what happens? Who tells you that he cannot be sabotaged like the way we are saying it, that Ababio just came out and said, and all those things are just lies. The global world, the global community, please share this video. Peter Obi's presidency has been seen. Maybe possibly at the end of the day, Atiku was able to say, okay, but understand this thing very clearly, that it is another delay tactics, and paint a certain picture about the Igbo identity in Nigeria. Then after Obi's 4 years, or before Obi's 4 years, the support fearful global leader that is bent on running his agenda based on American foreign policies. Any terrorist you see anywhere in the world, America is against it, against them. And Obi goes, Trump goes. Who is going to stand for the reality of that? And that's the question. That why is it that the southern Nigeria is always afraid of the north? Politically and otherwise. The north controls the resources of the south. The south does not control the resources of the north. And that's the picture. And when there are resistant voices, the Southeast governors and Southeast politicians, they pretend a lot. As if they don't know what is going on. Because they are afraid of the northern oligarchy, Fulani, that made them who they are. You can see how they are pushing towards Enugu now. Every night they are pouring into Enugu. And when there is insecurity in Enugu, he said, hey, where did it start? We don't know how it started. Okay, the governor of Peter, but are you not seeing it? Look at the governor of Benue State has compromised. Plateau State, you saw him hiding inside a more tank to address his own people. But this is the Nigeria you are talking about. In 1985, Nigeria have close to 7 or 17 airlines. Emirates have only 3. Today, Emirates have close to 400 airlines. Nigeria have no national airline. Nigeria be this. We never see anything. We are seeing it very clearly that even Gowon is not saying anything. Danjuma is not saying anything. The middle belt leaders, they are not seeing anything. And that is why the Canadian government has alerted the international community that it has gotten to the point that they need to activate and invoke. I always say that it does not take America and Trump anything to dismantle the breakup of this country. It does not take. We have been at war since pre-independence over the same issue. What led to Nigeria's civil war? Why were the Igbo people being killed before independence? If you go to the south now, you cannot see a Fulani man building mansions and factories trying to establish. You cannot see them add value to the society. You cannot. It is only the Igbo people that wakes up 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning and come back. They barely work 20 hours in a day. But still, they are the most hated in this country. They contributed so much to the development of Nigeria. Okay, we cannot continue. A day will come that the center will no longer hold. Jonathan said there are no go areas. Those no go areas are where there are problems lies. Who is going to tell the northern, the Fulanis, who are less than 17 million people in population, with all the governors in the north? There's no Hausa governor, there's no Hausa senator, there's no Hausa local government chairman, there's no Hausa councillor, there's no Hausa emir. And you are saying you are fighting insecurity with an ideology that's already armed. And they are advancing to the south. They are advancing to the south, politically and otherwise. The United Nations, the UK government, the Israeli government, the American government. People are dying as a result of their faith in Nigeria. And what is that faith? National unity of Nigeria has been preached by Gowon and the rest of them, has become a weapon of infiltration by the Fulanis to dismantle and continue to plant Islam, jihad, against people who are non-Muslims. And that is why we are asking for a safe Christian nation state called Biafra. Thank you and God bless.